Rick,
Yes.
Tom,
I'm here.
Pat,
Yep, I'm here.
Norm,
Norm's here.
Mayor.
Here.
Excellent, thank you.
You are live whenever you're ready.
Thanks, Jen. This is Council President Stacy Kelly. We're getting ready to begin our council meeting of November 10th at 7:01 p.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mayor Biassiata,
Here.
Director of Law Pignatello,
Here.
Director of Finance Petroniak,
Here.
Councilman at Large Elliott,
Here.
Councilwoman at Large Kelly,
Sure.
Councilman at Large Koyu,
Here.
Ward 1 Councilman Kiriasis,
Here.
Ward 2 Councilman Martin,
Here.
Ward 3 Councilman Snitsky,
Present.
Ward 4 Councilman Delaquilla,
Here.
Director of Public Service and Properties Johnson,
Here.
Building Commissioner Grassi,
Present.
Engineer Collins.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Engineer Dan Collins from our meeting this evening.
I'll second that, Councilman Cooley.
Thank you, Councilman. Roll call, please.
Delaquilla,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kiriasis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Moving on to the reading and disposal of the journal. There are no submissions for this week. Going forward with the consent agenda, there are no submissions for November 10th of 2020. Moving on to our resolutions of commendation.
Madam President, Councilman Delaquilla.
Councilman Delaquilla.
Thank you. I move that if there is no division of the question, that council suspend the rules of council and read resolutions 25, 26, 27, and 28 by title only for their first and final reading, for the reason that these Hall of Fame resolution nominations will have the inductee ceremony on Saturday.
Councilman Snitsky, I second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Delaquilla,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kiriasis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Resolution number 25, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Koyu, Kiriasis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. Resolution of commendation to Alexander Pograbinski, Hall of Fame 2020 inductee for art. Resolution number 26, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Koyu, Kiriasis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. A resolution of commendation to George Seipel, Hall of Fame 2020 inductee for music and music production. Resolution number 27, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Koyu, Kiriasis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. A resolution of commendation to Barbara Stanzak, Hall of Fame 2020 inductee, sculptor. And finally, resolution number 28, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Koyu, Curriasis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. A resolution of commendation to Stephen Whitney Baum, known as Suede, Hall of Fame 2020 inductee, designer. And council has already noted these are emergency resolutions.
Is there a further motion?
Madam President,
Councilman Delaquilla.
thank you. I move that council approves the emergency clause in section 3 of each of the following 4 resolutions, 25, 26, 27, and 28, 2020, so that council may consider these matters in time to meet the deadline for the inductee ceremony on Saturday.
Councilman Snitsky, I'll second the motion.
Roll call.
Delaquilla,
Yes?
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Curriasis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Is there a further motion?
Madam President,
Councilman Delaquilla.
if there is no division of the question, I move that council adopts Resolution 25, 2020, Resolution 26, 2020, Resolution 27, 2020, and Resolution 28, 2020 as emergency measures.
Councilman Snitsky, I'll second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Delaquilla,
Yes?
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Curriasis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Resolution number 25-2020 has been adopted. Resolution number 26-2020 has been adopted. Resolution number 27-2020 has been adopted. And resolution number 28-2020 has been adopted. Moving on to reports of committees, Planning, Zoning, and Economic Development.
Yes, Madam President, this is Councilman Snitsky. Previous meeting minutes are on file with the clerk. Our next meeting is November 24th.
Thank you, Councilman Snitsky. Public Works.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. Our last meeting was this evening, November 10th. Our next meeting will be December 15th, and the minutes are on file with the Clerk of Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Coolio. Community Services.
Yes, Madam President, this is Councilman Curriasis. The last meeting for community service was this evening, and the next meeting is December 8th, and the minutes are pending with the Clerk of Council.
Thank you,
December
Councilman
15th.
Curriasis.
Thanks.
Oh, got it. Thank you, Councilman Curriasis. Police and Safety.
Thank you, Madam President. The last meeting was held today for police and safety. Next meeting will be held on December the 8th. The minutes are pending.
Thank you, Councilman Elliott. Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, Chairperson Kelly. The Parks and Recreation minutes have been sent in, and our next meeting for Parks and Recs is November 24th.
Thank you, Councilman Martin. Rules, Ordinances, and Ethics.
Thank you, Madam President. The minutes of the last Rules Committee meeting have been submitted to the Council Clerk. Our next meeting is scheduled for November 24th.
Thank you, Councilman Delaquilla. This is Council President Kelly. Finance, Civil Service, and Personnel. Our last meeting was on October 27th, 2020. The minutes are on file with the clerk, and our next meeting is November 24th, 2020. Mayor, do we have any appointments or confirmations this evening?
Yes, Council President. This is Mayor Biassiata. We have one appointment that I'm asking Council to confirm this evening. It's for Mr. Jeff Bazo to the Planning Commission for a term ending January 2024.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions from Council?
Madam President, this is Councilman Kuyu.
Councilman Kuya.
Just to back up a little bit on the committee's reports, is the second week in December would be the 15th, or am I wrong on that? Because the first week isn't a full week.
That's correct. Our first meeting is December 15th.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Mayor, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to approve your appointment of Jeff Bazzo to the Planning Commission.
Delaquilla, second motion.
That was seconded by Delaquilla, is that correct?
Yeah, or Pat can do it, either way.
Okay. I heard you first, Del. I'll put you down in a second. Roll call, please.
Delaquilla,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kiriazis,
Yes.
Kuyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes, and I'd like to make a comment about Mr. Bezos, if I can.
Go ahead, please.
I've worked with him on the commission for a number of years now, and he's a very highly qualified individual and great to work with. So this is a good thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to state that Mr. Bazzo has been confirmed to the Planning Commission. Thank you for our service to the city. Okay, moving on. Do we have any communications, petitions, or claims, Council Clerk?
There are none tonight.
Thank you. Moving on to our ordinances and resolutions, we'll have the first reading of ordinance number 79-2020.
Ordinance number 79, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata, Councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Kuyu, Kiriazis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contractual agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with the city of Parma for the purpose of prisoner housing services.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance number 80-2020, we'll now have our first reading.
Ordinance number 80, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and Councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Kuyu, Kiriazis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a public health services agreement with the Cuyahoga County Board of Health for the purpose of providing public health services for the period covering January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
Thank you. We'll now have the first reading of ordinance number 81-2020.
Ordinance number 81, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and Councilperson Kelly, Elliott, Kuyu, Kiriazis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into an appraisal agreement on behalf of the city of Seven Hills, Ohio, with Industrial Appraisal Company for the purpose of preparing a tabulated schedule of fixed assets, including a depreciation study, to conform with the requirements of GASB 34 as it pertains to depreciation, and appropriating an amount not to exceed $5,875 for said service.
Thank you. We'll now have the first reading of ordinance number 82-2020.
Ordinance number 82, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and Councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Kuyu, Kiriazis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. An ordinance to amend Section 707.03, Master Street Tree Plan adopted, as contained in Title I, Streets and Sidewalks of Part 7, Streets and Public Services Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Seven Hills, Ohio, for the purpose of allowing the city arborist to use funds from the tree fund to plant trees in the city right-of-way.
Thank you.
Councilman Kelly, point of order for a moment, please.
Councilman Snitsky, you've been recognized. Your point of order?
Yeah, just one thing about this, and I want to thank the administration, Carol and Terry, and all the people that work behind the scenes to get these things to happen and make us all look good for getting this on the agenda so quickly. when I originally submitted this transmittal, I had arborist/service director in there. Now I know that currently the service director is the arborist, but I don't really have a problem with how it's written or how we want to write it. But in the past, we've not had an arborist, but have had a service director. So I don't know if this should be amended to say arborist/service director, or if it's fine the way it is. I just don't know. I don't know if Law wants to speak to this, or Jack Johnson. I just don't know. But again, in the past, I do recall in times past that we've had a service director, but not necessarily had a city-designated arborist. So I'd like somebody else to speak to this if they would. Thank you.
Madam President, this is Councilman Elliott.
Councilman Elliott.
Yep. I don't think you just designate someone an arborist I'm pretty sure being an arborist is a profession, and I'm not sure Director Johnson's an arborist. So I'm kind of confused on your comments, Councilman Schnitsky.
This is Council President Kelly. Currently, the way the ordinance is written, it does refer to the service director as acting on behalf of the city arborist. If we want to make a distinction between the two and just, keep it at the discretion of the service director, we can do that. I personally think that it should just remain in the sole custody of the service director and remove arborist, because that is a certified position. But that's just my opinion.
Councilwoman Kelly, Madam President, I agree with you 100%.
And this is Councilman Snitsky, that was my intention when I wrote it up as arborist/service director, because I wasn't quite sure how we wanted to phrase it so that, again, if we didn't have an arborist, we could still do the work. So I'm all for changing it to allowing the city service director.
All right, since we've already had the first reading, we can make a motion to amend it on the second reading. Is everyone in agreement with that?
This is Councilman Elliott, yes.
This is Councilman Snitsky. I don't have a problem with that. Thank you.
Point of order. Do we need a
Johnson?
formal motion to do that?
We were going to do it. Well, we've already passed this on first reading, so it would have to be on the second reading.
Okay.
Director Johnson, are you okay with that?
Madam Chairman, yes, that's fine.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Snitsky, are you okay to move on?
Yes, ma'am. Please move on. Onward and upward.
All right. Okay, let's now have the first reading of resolution number 29-2020.
Madam President,
Councilman Kuriazis.
I move to suspend the rules of council and read resolution number 29-2020 by title only for its first and final reading.
This is Councilman Elliott. I second the motion.
Roll call.
Delaquilla,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kuriazis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
Resolution number 29, 2020, introduced by Mayor Biassiata and councilpersons Kelly, Elliott, Koyu, Kuriazis, Martin, Snitsky, and Delaquilla. A resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Seven Hills to file an application to the Land and Water Conservation Fund program and agreement to obligate the necessary funds to complete the Seven Hills Preserve project and declaring an emergency.
Is there a further motion?
Madam President,
Councilman Kuriazis.
I move to approve the emergency clause in section 4 of this resolution.
Councilman Elliott, I second.
Roll call.
Delaquilla,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kuriazis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
I would like to make a brief comment on Resolution 29-2020. I would like to thank the mayor for having forward thinking and putting together a Plan B. As you know, the mayor did apply for a grant. This is related to the property by North Park. If for some reason the first grant is not accepted, this is the Plan B. There's no money or commitment involved. This is just something to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with. So thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. Is there a further
Thank you,
motion?
Madam.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mayor.
I was just going to say thank you, Madam President. It authorizes the mayor to apply for a secondary grant in the event the first one doesn't go through. We have a shot at this. So thank you to you and all of council for acting so quickly on 29-2020. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a further motion?
Madam President,
Councilman Curriasis.
I move to adopt resolution number 29-2020 as an emergency measure.
This is Councilman Elliott. I second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Delaquilla,
Yes.
Elliott,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Curriasis,
Yes.
Koyu,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Snitsky.
Yes.
I also wanted to add for the record, too, that the reason for the emergency is that the grant application deadline is November 14th. And with that being said, resolution number 29-2020 has been adopted. Okay, moving on to reports and communications from the mayor/safety director.
Thank you, Madam President. This is Mayor Biassiata. First, I'd like to wish the United States Marine Corps a happy birthday. It's their 245th today. Next, in honor of Veterans Day, which is tomorrow, I'd like to thank all the veterans out there for their service. So many veterans chose Seven Hills as a home. We wouldn't be the community we are today without their contributions. So many people heading into Thanksgiving. So many people to thank. Issue 41. First and foremost, I want to thank the voters of the city of Seven Hills for approving Issue 41. 56% of the vote. The original rec center bond 20 years ago passed with 51%. And with the headwinds of a presidential election and multiple other tax measures, it was quite the daunting task to get the message out there. And I want to thank a few people who made this possible, because I really believe the city's going to reap the benefit from this for decades to come. And I hope even the people that didn't support it are going to really appreciate it once they see the fruit of the labor, and particularly the park improvements, the capital park improvements that I think we're going to have on the horizon. So first, I'd like to thank Carol Zupancic. Without her selfless sacrifice in support of this issue, and more than I can speak to on the dais here today, passage would not have been possible. Thank you, Carol Zupancic. Thank you to Bob Roble, who also contributed much on the administration. Director Berger, Director Terry did a lot to get the word out there and educate. So many others, in no particular order. I had a number of council people either donated time or money to help out. Councilman Delaquilla, Councilman Elliott, Councilman Koyu, Councilman Karalis, Councilman Martin, Councilman Snitsky, both of whom, Councilman Martin and Councilman Snitsky, wrote really nice articles in the newsletter educating the electorate on the importance and contributing in other ways. So thank you to all of you. We couldn't have done it without everyone doing their part, and there's such good things ahead for the city of Seven Hills, and I'm just so thankful to you and the residents for making this happen. Election day. Pretty documented. There was a pretty big mess over at Hillside. The Board of Elections already been aware of it. They've been in communication with me. They look for ideas. They've been very cordial in the conversation, and they promise this won't happen again. For those of you who may not know, there was upwards for most of the day from the get-go a 3-hour wait. And once again, kudos to our residents that voted, and particularly those that voted at Hillside in person on Election Day. I think maybe out of 2,000 people, I may have witnessed 1 or 2 people actually give up. Everybody else wanted to be heard, and that just speaks volumes to the character of the residents of Seven Hills to endure that wait to make sure that their vote counted that day. The experience was greatly aided by the following individuals. Number one, I want to commend Director Terry. Early in the day, he went into action. I had went and talked to the board, and Director Terry took action. He called me up with a number of ideas, solely his, taking the initiative, and that's what you really want to see in an employee. He had the idea to get the city bus going. He got the service garage over there to put up parking barriers because people were parking in private yards because the parking ran out. I'm sure there was more that he did during the day, but those are a couple of the main ones. The parking barriers, getting the city bus going, and then he proceeded to work about a 12-hour day without a break, making sure the people were getting back and forth as efficiently as humanly possible given the situation. I also want to give a shout-out to Todd Steinmetz, often an unsung hero in many of our initiatives. He filled in late in the day on the bus, and he also did a number of things behind the scenes here at City Hall and the City Hall parking lot to keep things moving. Year in and year out, Todd is an unsung hero behind the scenes, and I want to acknowledge him as I'm in the Thanksgiving mode. One more election day thing. I want to thank Director Berger. She took a vacation day to work the poll. All these efforts come together to make a municipality, a city, a community. And without the support of so many fine people, we wouldn't be the community we are today. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor, for your comments. Moving on to reports from the directors of departments. Director of Finance, Director Petruniak.
Thank you, Madam President. This is Finance Director Petruniak, and I have nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The Director of Law, Richard Pignatello.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to echo the mayor's thanks to all the people and councilmen and Director Berger and Director Terry and Carol Zupancic and Bob Roble, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of people. I think it's very exciting that issue 41 passed. I look forward to many great things coming out of that for the residents of this community. And I would also like to thank the mayor for his leadership on this issue. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pignatello. Our city engineer is absent this evening, and our building commissioner, Grassley. Director Grassi?
Good evening. Thank you, Madam President. This is Building Commissioner Grassi. Tonight I have one new update from the building department. That's a demolition permit was applied for and is currently being reviewed for the old Ruby Tuesdays. I will keep you updated on the timeline once the demo permit has been reviewed. The Zoning Board of Appeals will meet tomorrow, November 11th, and there are 3 variance requests on the agenda. There are no new submissions for the November Planning Commission meeting. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Building Commissioner. Miscellaneous comments from council, starting with Councilman Coolio.
Point of order, Madam President. I think you missed Jack Johnson.
Oh, my apologies. Boy, I seem to miss one every week. My apologies, Director Johnson. Director of Public Service and Properties.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'll keep it very short. I'd like to echo Director Pignatello's comments, congratulate the mayor for his leadership in having the vision to put this forth to the voters, and thank you to the voters who showed their support and the confidence in what the administration is doing. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Director. Okay, now we'll have miscellaneous comments from councilmen, starting with Councilman Kuliu.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to thank everybody who was involved with the voting process, from Tony Terry, the mayor, everybody on city council, all the way down to the volunteers and stuff like that. I think with the situation that we were involved with, there was a great job done with everything. There were long wait in line, but you know what? I think everybody overall did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Kuliu. Councilman Kuriazis?
Yeah, I want to thank the mayor and everybody, Tony Terry and everybody that worked on Election Day, Todd, and also the voters of the city for passing the rec and the parks levy. I want to thank everybody also for showing up to vote and waiting 2 to 3 hours in line at Hillside. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Kuriazis. Councilman Delaquila?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of things. I want to first of all congratulate Mayor Biassiata on a job well done on issue 41. I want to thank everyone who's been involved in that hard work. We all know that taxes are not a popular subject, but this result could not have been achieved without a lot of work by a lot of people, volunteers, city officials who devoted their personal time to work on it, our council. This is a real achievement that those of us who were involved from the get-go understand the difficulties that were confronted. It also speaks volumes about our community and how in difficult times, which is what we are in, how our community has found ways in a lot of different times to hold hands, understand what the future is asking us to do, step up and perform. This is one of the reasons why I'm so proud to be a resident of Seven Hills and involved in city government. I also want to remind everybody, again, as the mayor did, that tomorrow is Veterans Day. Many of us have relatives, friends, or we ourselves served in the military. I have not, but I know many who have. We owe them a deep debt of gratitude for their commitment to our wonderful country. If you have an opportunity tomorrow, I know it would mean a lot to them. Say thank you to a veteran. Maybe offer to buy a cup of coffee. Show the appreciation that I know we all feel in our hearts, because we would not have the country we have without the veterans who sacrificed so much for us. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Delaquila. Moving on to Councilman Snitsky.
Thank you, Madam President. After those eloquent speeches by the mayor and the former mayor, there's not much I can say. I'd like to thank a couple veterans personally, my father and father-in-law, who have both since moved on to their last post, and both of my brother-in-laws who served many years, each of them, in the Navy. I also want to thank the residents for the foresight to see the value of passing all of the issues pertaining to the city of Seven Hills. The parks, the Ruby Tuesday Dairy Queen issue, and the Raising Cane issue. These are good things that are going to happen in the city because of the foresight of the residents. And I just want to make a comment about leadership. Leadership. The mayor has shown tremendous leadership, but I think that this crew of elected officials, I think in a way we're a group of leaders, and I think we all need to commend ourselves on being so effective at running city government. Thanks again to the residents for passing all the issues. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you, Councilman Snitsky. Councilman Elliott.
Thank you, Madam President. I echo the words of council. I think the mayor did a astonishing job on issue 41 and some of the other issues. Thank you for your hard work, Mayor. It's a true testament. I just told someone today, I had another phone call today. Usually when we first started off on council here, we were getting nothing but complaints about certain things. And I can tell you, I can't remember the last time I actually had a complaint in the city. People actually called, thanked me for a job that one of the police officers did. Someone else acknowledged the police on election day out there directing traffic and helping them kind of calm down and, kind of give them the update, like it's going to be a couple-hour wait. I know that had to be a horrible job for the police that day. But it all comes back to leadership, the right hires. Chief Mecklenburg, he fits right into this city, along with Chief Saloom and the other directors. Tony Terry, Jen Berger. When you hear those names now, it's leadership, and it's really great to see. It actually makes me happy to put my time in as a council member. They make our job so much easier. So I want to thank all of you for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Elliott. Councilman Martin, miscellaneous comments?
Thank you, Council President. Regarding the Parks and Rec issue, thank you to Carol Zapancic again, as was mentioned earlier, as well as Jen Berger and the mayor. It's obviously long-term funding for the parks. It's a great investment in our community, and it's certainly a great investment in our homes, and it will benefit us long term. And thank you, Tony Terry, the van driver, and all those who participated with Tony to make it a smoother process, taking lemons and making into lemonade, as they say, and appreciate those efforts to make a smoother voting process in the midst of chaos. And looking forward to better plans in the future for the good problem of having so many people vote in such a large turnout. Those are good things to have to deal with. And again, I'd like to thank the voters for them taking the time to vote. It's so important, and they made their voices heard on a number of issues. And again, respect to our veterans for Veterans Day tomorrow. Obviously, never forget, as well as respect to our first responders they're on post every day for our community, and we appreciate them. And again, a note to our residents is that we've said almost nearly every meeting, please follow professional science advice, and mandates, and common courtesy, and just please wear a mask when you're out in public. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Martin. This is Council President Kelly. I'd like to first and foremost thank our veterans for their service. I'd also like to thank our voters for the passages of issues 41, 42, and 43. And thank you so much for our directors and employees who helped out and assisted on voting day, and to our residents who showed up and voted, whether it be in person or absentee ballot. I know that the in-person voting was, an extreme situation with the long lines and wait times, but our residents got it done, and that's much appreciated. I have no further comments for this evening. If there's, are there any miscellaneous by council members or the administration? If there's no further comments, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn this council meeting at 7:39 p.m.
This Councilman Elliott, I second the motion.
Sorry.
Councilman Elliott, second. Did you have something, Delaquilla?
Yes.
Elliott?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Curriasis?
Yes.
Koyu?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Snitsky?
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Council is adjourned at 7:39. Thank you.